CM Punk return confirmed. Fuck it, let's keep that in.
CM Punk confirmed.
Yeah, you ruined it.
Hi guys, it's Sean and Paul here from Alpha Wrestling Reviews.
Yeah, hi. Sorry, that caught me off guard there. We are filming in the car again, guys, and we are sorry that we didn't record yesterday. Logistical reasons stopped us from doing it. We were both working.
You struggled to say that.
I did. We were both working. It caught us off guard. It's sort of a last-minute work placement thing, and we just couldn't end up recording. I'm blabbering here. So we're doing it today, but again, right now we are pressed for time, so we're not going to go into as much detail about Raw and SmackDown, and they're both going to be in this one video. We're going to try and keep it short and sweet. It's just this...
Well, you're short and sweet.
Aww. But we're going to try and keep it as informative as we can. We're going to add my news video into this one as well today. So yeah, we're going to start off with Raw. Let me get my notes. It was in Des Moines, Iowa, which was Seth Rollins' hometown.
Yeah,
come out with a nice little Iowa's own thing.
Yeah, so that's back from last year because they just keep it.
It's the same thing, I think. Yeah, just keeps it in his closet and brings it out each year. Oh, I'm at home. I'm going to bring it out. Anyway, we're rambling. The show starts with Triple H and Seth Rollins. Looks like Triple H is now a face. And they had the most awkward hug ever. It was like the old... It was like last week with Stephanie and...
This was overly scripted.
It was like,
because they were like two back and forth with each other, and it was just...
But I actually don't mind Triple H being face. I think after the Batista win, where he's been face, to then turn him back heel again for the sake of turning him heel, I'm sick of this back and forth with faces and heels all the time. So I'm okay with keeping him face for a while and just don't have him on scene with Stephanie. I think that'll make more of a...
Stephanie heel?
Yeah, well, after last week she was, yeah. I mean, Shane's been an absolute knob cheese, but, you know, he is heel and he's a good heel. If you don't like him, that's the whole point. It's the same as the Iconics.
No,
I moan about him.
It's the same as Baron Corbin. I hate him.
No, that's different.
He's doing really well with that.
Yeah, but he can't wrestle, I'm sorry. Other than the Deep Six and the End of Days. I don't like his Arsenal. Pardon the pun. I'm an Arsenal fan as well, for any English viewers or British viewers. Oh my god. Anyway, getting on. He makes a comment about Vegas being...
Brock being in Vegas.
About Brock being in Vegas.
Crying.
Licking his wounds, which I found quite funny. I think that actually is a very sly, real shot.
Yeah, that's
to be fair.
That's like, is that actually could be like a real thing, because Brock lives in Vegas.
I think that's back with Sable, who I think's about to be, 8 years older than him?
Who's never not with Sable. He's got kids with her. Have you seen?
No, I'm just saying, like, that's where she is.
His daughter.
No.
It's like, just imagine Brock,
With
just with
tits.
long hair, just long, mate. She does like a hammer throw. She's like Miss Trunchbull from Matilda.
Oh my
She does like a
Christ.
shot for a hammer throw.
If she went into wrestling, it wouldn't be the F5, it'd be the F500.
And moving on.
Don't come find me, Brock, please. I love you. I'm
I
sorry.
don't think he cares.
Anyway, so it was announced there will be 2 triple threat matches tonight. One would be AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio and Samoa Joe. And then the second one would be The Miz, Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre.
So
I'm just going to say off the bat right now, one of these two, we'll get to which one later, one of these two was match of the night and actually overall match of the week,
Yes.
I think. So, yeah, Joe then comes out. He was ill last week. He had the flu, although some places were reporting it was pneumonia. But no one's actually officially come out and said,
no
yeah,
one
he had
can
pneumonia.
recover from pneumonia in 6
Right,
days.
so it might have just been the flu, but apparently Joe was near enough and was dying last week.
He had a cold. He got man flu.
He had man flu.
Man flu's a real thing, though.
It is a real thing. It's a real thing, ladies. Then Mysterio comes out, followed by McIntyre, then The Miz. The Miz got a huge cheer, by the way. And then finally Corbin, and I just put in my comments here, they're still saying crap about that bleeding, how he beat Angle, and did you beat Kurt Angle in his final match? And everyone turns around, yeah, we've all beat Kurt Angle. And it's like, okay, well, did you beat him in his final match? No, that's what I thought. Shut up, Baron.
Miz didn't never beat Kurt Angle.
Yeah, he did.
Where?
Oh, no, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Miz never fought Kurt Angle.
Oh, well, they messed that one up then, didn't they?
Because it was the only match. Oh no, he has fought him, but it was with the Shield. And Miz took the pin.
Which Angle pinned
Yeah.
himself. He pinned Miz himself,
and
yeah.
At Shield angle.
I like that. I thought that was a good match.
No. I remember on Twitter, they came down the stairs and then Kurt Angle just came behind him with a massive smile. I was like,
Yeah, just sitting there.
It was like when your sons allow you to tag along for the day. He looks so happy.
All I had in my mind was, Make-A-Wish have gone too far with this one.
Oh no, that's so harsh.
Anyway, we digress.
Mate.
So, AJ Styles finally comes out, and again, another huge cheer for AJ Styles. Styles basically says to Corbin, he basically asked him to shut up. He says his face is almost annoying as his voice. I agree with that one. It's announced that the first match will be the AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio and Samoa Joe match. So we're not going to go right into it. I'm just going to say a few spots. There was a great Hurricane Rana counter into the Styles clash. Oh, from the Styles clash, sorry, by Rey Mysterio. That was hell of a move. But they were both on the turnbuckle, and there was. Don't ask. So basically, they were both up on the turnbuckle, and then Samoa Joe comes up and he does like a back body drop to the pair of them. They go absolutely flying. It was hilarious. But the ending was a 619 to Samoa Joe.
Phenomenal ending.
He then goes to drop the dime. Styles catches him in a powerbomb position. Powerbombs him on the floor, then up, then onto Joe, and then hits the Styles clash on Mysterio onto Joe and pins Joe. Pins the United States champion. That seems to be a recurring thing lately. The champs are getting pinned.
Let's hope that doesn't happen at Money in.
But honestly, go watch this match. If you have a chance to watch any match this week, I would honestly recommend this one. It was absolutely
phenomenal.
That was phenomenal.
That was.
Yeah. Right, anyway.
Very well timed.
We digress. Next match, we have Naomi versus Billie Kay. Oh, my Christ.
I missed this guy. I went to the toilet.
Right, now, the Iconics, they annoy me on the commentary. Like I mentioned last week, I usually go and make... a cuppa and things.
Cuppa.
But the good thing is, that's what they're supposed to. They're supposed to wind you up. And I do enjoy them. So they're doing their job. I don't have a problem with Iconics.
No, they're not. They're not iconic.
No, they're hell not iconic.
Well, no, I mean, iconic!
I just did that. So, yeah, and then next, basically what they did was, it was a short match. It was about 2 minutes. It wasn't that good. It was Billie Kay versus Naomi, who I think's got the best female entrance music ever. I always dance along to it. I think it's great. That and Alexa Bliss's one, because I like the beat.
I've just got an image in my head of you watching SmackDown, just like jigging in front of the TV.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to do that on camera, because that's awful. So, yeah, basically, the match was ended with Billie Kay getting hit with the split leg moonsault for the pin, and again, a champion has lost within about 2 minutes.
Do you know she copies the Starship Pain?
Starship Pain had a twist in it. Starship Pain wasn't just split leg.
Yeah.
RVD did the split leg before he come up with the 5-star frog splash. He was doing the split leg, and he wanted a more impactful move. That's why he came up with the 5-star.
Rolling Thunder.
I never liked the Starship Pain. I've never been a fan of John Morrison either. Johnny Nitro, Johnny Impact, whatever his bloody name is this week. I've never been a fan of him.
Johnny Lucha. He just...
Johnny get in the bin.
There's this
Johnny get in the sea.
It's fine because now we have a Johnny Wrestling, so...
Yeah, I'll take that one any day. So basically that was the end of that. It was just a little thing. It wasn't even a tag team feud, and yet the tag team champ lost. Why couldn't it have had Peyton Royce cause a distraction and let Kay beat Naomi? But they didn't. Anyway, they're not going
to let Naomi lose because she's just moved over.
So next we had the second triple threat match, which was Miz, McIntyre and Corbin. The heels beat down the Miz, and they finally sort of turned on each other. It wasn't actually a bad match. When I was watching it, I thought, well, this ain't going to be as good as the other one. But to be fair, it was a better expectation than what I thought it was. And the match was basically ended with McIntyre hit Miz with the Claymore, and Corbin come in, threw McIntyre out, and stole the pin.
So we're going to see a Corbin.
And like I said to you off camera just before we started recording, looks like the Miz and Shane McMahon thing is done, and Shane has won the feud.
I know. I reckon it's not like there'll be a time where
I think they'll come back to it.
Shane will come over to Raw.
I think they'll come back to it, but I think Miz seeing Shane off last week with the chair was the ending of the feud. and for at least a while, which I'm a bit, because you know Shane is the best in the world. Oh, Shane, seriously. Corbin, I actually was really taken back, and I thought it was really interesting. But when Corbin weren't in the ring and we were just seeing Miz McIntyre, I would generally like to watch that as a singles match. Those two were really good. I liked it anyway. That was it basically. Sami Zayn come out next. The crowd were chanting his theme song. I'm bored of it already. It was the same. I've actually put in my notes. It was the same promo as last week. Just saying how they're hypocrites and all this and how he don't like them. It's going to be
the same promo every week.
Oh, I've had enough of it already.
In a different city.
And he basically just tells the fans to go to hell and leaves. There was no point. I didn't like this. I'm already starting to get bored by it.
I've been to hell. It's called Basildon.
We move on. Next, we have the Uso segment with Charlie Car Uso. I didn't make that up. That was what they said on TV. Charlie Car Uso.
I really thought you made. I was like, that was absolutely true.
I can't take the credit for that one. They make up some crap that I can't understand. They're talking some absolute twaddle on the news. They got interrupted by the Revival. Bit of back and forward. Yeah, it looks like the feud going forward is Revival versus Usos.
That's fine by me.
I'm okay with that, but it looks like the Revival will lose again. But this is that professionalism. They've had their contract, they've had their release rejected, so they're sticking at it. They're sticking to their contract. I'll get in when I talk about my news segments later on. I'll address that, but yeah. So I've actually gone ahead there. This segment was after this match, sorry. The next match is Cedric Alexander versus Cesaro. Still using Sheamus's music. No Sheamus though, because he is injured, and again that will come in the news report in a bit. What's going on with that one? But although it said Cedric Alexander on the Titantron, Michael Cole, my God, Harry kept just saying Alexander.
Yeah, but they do that for a lot of them.
I still think we'll give it 2-3 weeks, and they'll drop the Cedric. I'm betting you anything they'll drop the Cedric.
That sounds like that sounds like an innuendo. I'm gonna drop the Cedric.
This match was quite short. It only went about between 5 and 10 minutes, but very
the ending of it was
very, very good.
Amazing.
I'm a huge fan of Cesaro, always have been. I'm a fan of Cedric Alexander, and so I would like to see them both get a little bit of a push. Really, just that's why I wasn't too keen on them facing each other, because one was going to get beat. But Cedric, on his first match in Raw, well, no, not technically, but his first match since being an official member of the Raw roster, not the Cruiserweight roster, pardon me, he lost to Cesaro. Cesaro caught him during a mid-springboard with an uppercut. It was actually
one of the best uppercuts I've ever
sold it like he got shot with a shotgun.
I think it might have actually connected.
No, if you see, he put his arm under it. That's why he managed to fold, because he used the arms to push himself back. It's actually quite clever. But yeah, Cesaro won with like mid-air uppercut. He sold very well, and it was quite good. I'm actually going to say the news report for this bit here anyway. The rumour is that Sheamus might actually have to retire. Now, for those of you who don't know, Sheamus is suffering from spinal stenosis, which is the same thing that Edge had to retire from. It's basically a thinning of the spinal cord where everything else is enlarging due to injuries. It can cause quite a lot of pain and discomfort, and can be quite severe if you're to keep taking bumps. You'd end up in a wheelchair. We don't know what else is going to come of it, but the rumour is he may have to retire. I hope he don't. I do hope he don't, because the bar won me over, to be honest.
I love the bar.
When they weren't being pushed too much like they were at the end of 2016, 2017, that was a bit. They were like on every tag team match, and I think with the New Day it got a bit much. But no, they won me over, so I hope he doesn't retire. And you know,
I think that was what pushed me away from SmackDown Live last year. Was they had 3 tag teams.
It was just the same 3-way feud, wasn't it? Yeah. Usos. I mean, those matches were great at 2017. But yeah, so that's the end of that one. But again, I'll get into the rest of the news at the end of the show. So next we had the Firefly Funhouse. I can't English. It was the Firefly Funhouse. I'll get there eventually. When I watched this on Raw, shut up, Peter Piper. When I watched this on Raw, I thought, what the F am I watching here? I was just thinking this is not going to work. But then I watched it again on SmackDown after listening to reports, and I thought, Oh, okay. No,
I'm very excited.
I'm gonna get behind this.
I saw it and I was like, why are they making Bray Wyatt into that guy from Blue's Clues?
So my notes from Raw weren't exactly positive, but again, after watching it again on SmackDown, I warmed to it, and I have done as well. But yeah, they are making Bray Wyatt one weird ass creepy paedophile character. Hi kids, here's a chainsaw.
I wouldn't say he's a paedophile character.
He's not a paedophile character. I was just making a joke, and it was bad. But yeah, so they're looking to push him. The rumour is that Vince McMahon is really going to get behind him here, and he's going to be pushing him huge. Hopefully, by the end of the year, he will possibly have another world title feud.
Yes.
We don't know whether it's Raw or SmackDown. The rumour is it's more likely to be SmackDown.
Yes, SmackDown.
But I'll be interested to see where that goes. I think that could be quite good. I'm
Maybe
behind it now.
Maybe they'll put Harper back with them.
I hope so. I hope Harper has something. Again, we'll get into that one later. So, yeah, we had the Ricochet match.
Robert
Next.
Roode.
Oh, no, we didn't. Sorry. We had the Viking Raiders.
Do it. Just do it.
Okay, so again, news now. So they come out this week to the Viking Raiders. They're on a poll on WWE.com. They're called the Viking Warriors, which...
They are called the Ultimate Viking Raiders War Experience Machine.
Try and say that again.
The Ultimate Viking... I've forgotten what order it was.
But yeah, they are on a poll on WWE.com. Now, it's not been confirmed that their name is officially been changed again. It might have just been a typo. But on WWE.com, on a poll, they're now saying they're the Viking
Just call
Warriors.
them the Vikings, mate. Just call them the
Warriors.
Vikings.
That is 3 name changes
In 10 days.
in 10 days, and 4, if you count the takeover, in 2 weeks.
No, because they were
They're War Raiders, then Viking Experience, then Viking Raiders, now Viking... It's just awful. I'm hoping it's a typo, because
Is this what it's like when you become a new parent? You decide you don't like your kid's name?
I'm going to call him Michael or Keith or oh God, no, please, I'm
The
joking.
Michael Experience.
The Michael Experience.
Just
So they,
rename the Undertaker the Funeral Experience. Coming to AEW soon. The Funeral Experience.
well, they've stopped him and Kurt Angle appearing at StarCast 2 now. Again, another bit of news for you. Yeah, so they were supposed to be facing the Lucha House Party. Before the bell rang, they beat them down, which I thought was good.
It wasn't a beatdown.
It was a massacre.
Yeah.
It was an absolute massacre. Now they're calling the pop-up power slam, the double team pop-up power slam,
The Viking
Viking experience now. I think that fits better, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's also really weird how they just tried to not mention the fact that they've changed their names again.
Again, this goes down to us. We're not stupid. Like, we're not these naive idiots. Don't treat us like such. So Cole kept shouting out the Viking experience for the finishing move and going on and on and on, and just Michael Cole.
I just hate him.
I can't. It just drives me insane.
Like, he's on the same list as Andy Murray's mum and that guy from... What's the advert? Yeah, a guy from... I'll tell you that.
Go compare it, but...
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why I hate him. I just hate him.
Okay. Completely off subject of wrestling.
Yeah, but no, because Michael Cole's on it and I don't like him. There you go. Back to
Anyways, yeah, it was a beatdown segment. That was it. Bell didn't even ring. I'm happy for these guys to get a push. It's then confirmed there was a segment later on in the night where Ryder and Hawkins were asked about them. It looks like they're going to be facing Money in the Bank, and I think they'll lose the belt straight away.
Yeah.
I think you want an instant impact.
So
You want legitimate champions.
Who's beating them for the NXT ones?
I reckon you can see what happened with Paige when she went to main roster. They just vacate them to keep them
No,
strong.
she didn't vacate it.
Yeah, she got it stripped. She had when she debuted in 2014 and beat AJ Lee on her first night. She was only 21 at the time as well. She beat
what
her.
were you doing when you were
She
21?
beat her for the Divas Championship, that
Yeah.
stupid pink butterfly belt. But she was still the NXT Women's Champion.
Did she
And
vacate
what Regal did was he had to strip her of the belt. So I reckon that can be a good way. And that way you keep them
That's
strong
what
as well.
Asuka did as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's the best way to do it with those.
She also did a lot more with the belt as well.
But yeah, so the rumor is that they're possibly the Viking Warriors again, which for me,
the Viking Ultimate Warrior experience.
but that goes back to the original reason they changed the name was not to have war in it.
Warrior.
What, you know, it's the same issue. I think Vince is tinkering.
Next week they'll be called the War Warriors.
To this point, I couldn't care if they're called the War Fairies. Like, just stop changing their flipping name.
Give them Hansen and Roback. That's all I want.
Ivar and I know. We'll think of a nice Viking name. Have you got any idea? No. Oh, I've got one. Eric.
I know. Just a meeting with like creative. It's like, hi Eric. That's the name we're going to use.
But what frustrates me again is going back to the crowd. Like, they're saying that they don't acknowledge the fact that, you know, they were a different name last week. They're patronising us as fans, and I think it frustrates so many people. But anyway, we'll just move on because there's not much else we can say on that. So yeah, the Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, excuse me, they have an interview that basically looks like they're setting up a match between the Viking Raiders or the whatever the bloody name is now.
The War Machine.
Money in the Bank. I'm quite interested to see that. I think that's quite good. Next we have Becky Lynch come out.
I really like this promo.
She basically makes comments saying Lacey Evans is backstage doing favours for men right now, which I think was I just put here, PG going strong. Nice one there, yeah. Evans then interrupts. She says Lynch can't control emotions in a way that a lady should. Lynch calls Evans an absolute plank, which I actually did laugh at, and says that she's getting on. Evans says that she's getting on Lynch's last nerve, or Lynch says that Evans is getting on Lynch's last nerve. Sorry. Alicia Fox comes out. How is this woman still got a job? She has been right.
Where's she been?
She has been.
Isn't she the reason Arn Anderson got fired?
One of them, because she was drunk.
Yeah.
Now, I
speculation.
I cannot stand this woman. I've never liked her, and it infuriates me. I'm not talking heel hit, right? I just get off my screen. I cannot stand the woman with a passion. She's been in the company for 11 years. She still sucks ass, right? She is awful at I'm getting really passionate about this. She sucks ass, right? She's absolutely awful at wrestling. She can't wrestle. So, like, there were 3 botches in this. One really bad. She tries to do a tilt whirl, nearly makes Lynch land straight on her face. It was sloppy. She couldn't punch. She couldn't kick. You think she'd learn after 11 years? She doesn't. She can't cut a promo. She can't act. I find it literally painful. I sit there cringing. I feel shivers go down my spine when I watch her talk. Just F off my screen. That's what I'm going to say.
So you don't like Alicia Fox?
I don't like Alicia Fox. I do not like
Just
Alicia
to summarise, you're not a fan of Alicia Fox.
So
that was from the heart.
I just can't stand the woman.
That was really...
I really, really can't.
I like her.
It's like when she come out in the Rumble, right? At my unlucky number, like 17's my lucky number. 17's my lucky number. 18 is my unlucky number. And she come out at the Royal Rumble at number 18. I was like, WWE just know me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did that just for you, man.
Yeah. That's for me. I actually called it as well. At the Royal Rumble.
I bet my left arm that Vince doesn't even know you exist.
Oh no, probably not.
Definitely not.
At the Royal Rumble, I sat there and I'd done my own little predictions, and I predicted who'd come out where. So obviously, and Alicia Fox I had down at 18 because I didn't like the number and I didn't like her. And it actually happened.
Conspiracy
theory. Anyway, again, moving on. So yeah, I'm not even going to really go into the match because it was absolutely painful to watch. Lynch tapped her out with the disarmer, but before she could even release the hold, you had Evans jump in with a woman's rights, and Lynch sold it really weirdly. She sort of like half reacted to it and half not, and then sort of just collapsed to the floor. And then as Lynch got up, she hit her with another one, which was really good, women's rights. And yeah, Evans has now been confirmed to be facing Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship at Money in the Bank. We will get to our predictions before Money in the Bank comes round, but we both have a similar feeling as to what's going to happen. I'll say it after the SmackDown one. But yeah, that was all that really was said. Next we had Ricochet out. Since you
with the
pointed me out,
glorious Robert Roode.
No, since you pointed out Ricochet's entrance,
It's not the same, is it?
They've had another one at the end when he's in the ring. There's another one. I'm sitting there and I thought, oh, why are you ruining such a good theme song? They had like a little Ricochet sound, and then I don't know what that other one is when he gets in the ring. It's awful. His theme song's one of my favourites in WWE at the moment.
And
But anyway, we had Robert Roode. Now, a repackaged Bobby Roode come out with a really, really bad 70s porn star moustache look.
porn stash.
And they kept going about how he's one with the ladies and all that. He's basically a Rick Rude 2.0.
He's EC3's dad.
He's yeah.
Oh no, that's gonna be a thing. It just is gonna be a thing.
He is. I think he's not far off being old enough to be his dad.
EC3's like nearly 40.
Is he?
He's like 33.
I'll take that back then.
Right, yeah, I think who's the youngest person in WWE at the moment? I think it's Casey Catanzaro.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of hers. Did you know she's dating Ricochet now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite good. Yeah, I didn't have a clue who she was when she came out in the Rumble, and she completely.
She won American Ninja Warrior.
She completely won me over in that show. So I'm watching out for her now. I really want to see her matches. I want to see her progress well. But yeah, the match was okay. It was a bit short, but it was quite good. Ricochet went for the 630 at the end. He lands on his feet, sort of stumbles forward, turns around into a kick to the stomach, and then a glorious DDT.
No. Yep. Twatted off the middle turnbuckle. That's how it goes into glorious.
Oh, I can't remember. He gets hit with glorious DDT, and Ricochet loses. I hope to God he doesn't become a mid-carder. I want this guy to be a world champion.
He won't.
I don't think he will. But I want him to be. I
won't.
want him to be.
He won't.
Yeah, so Robert Roode won the match. But I will say, I think they're going to push him quite well, and I think he needed to be a heel. Bobby Roode, Robert Roode.
How hilarious would it be?
Rick Roode too.
Just completely off subject. If when Vince dies, his last dying wishes, bury EC3.
Just so he can get buried one more time.
Getting stiffed by Vince McMahon when he's dead.
So, it's a good match, but I put in my notes, I just said that I just don't agree with the finish. Like, if you want Bobby Roode to get over, Robert, whatever his bleeding name is, if you want him to get over, I wouldn't put him against Ricochet. Because I think Ricochet needs to be built up. So, that's my only gripe with it. But the match was good, to be fair. But I mean, both men are good
That's the
wrestlers.
second time he's taken a pin, isn't it? Because he took the pin at Mania.
Who?
Ricochet.
No, he didn't. It was
No.
one of the, I think it was Sheamus. One of the members of the bar.
Was it?
Yeah. I can't remember which one it was, but it weren't Ricochet or Black
I can't
that took
remember
pinfall. So next we had the two winners of the triple threat matches face each other in AJ versus Corbin.
This was lackluster.
I just put in my notes. Yay! There was a good deep six, but the match was basically a bit naff. The ending was a phenomenal forearm to Corbin for the win. Seth Rollins comes out.
So just to clarify, that's AJ versus Seth. This is a Mania match.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. But like you said to me, this is just basically to build up ticket sales because Game of Thrones' final episode is on the same night as Money in the Bank, so they're trying to get people over to watch. I think that it'll work.
I don't think it will. Depending on what time it starts and finishes, you could watch both.
You could watch UK, we could. I think over here in the UK, you probably could. But I don't know about the States. I don't know what time they air.
No, they air at the same time.
Oh, okay. Well,
to avoid spoilers. Yeah, no, because you could, because I think Game of Thrones is on for like an hour and a half. So you could watch this match.
Yeah, it's just under 90 minutes. It's about 85 minutes, I think, the last episode. So yeah, but the match weren't great. But Rollins comes out after the match and he holds up Universal title in front of AJ. They shake hands, which I liked. And it sort of doesn't need to be a back and forward. It's just be a good competitive match.
Who's going to be the first to turn heel? Because they won't do two faces against each other.
I stand by it. Like I said before in another video, I think AJ will lose, but I think the following feud after, I think this is just a one-off, just to, like you say, get ticket sales up. I think after this, you're going to have hopefully the club or the
versus
Good Brothers.
who?
No, I think they're going to have a faction. I think you're going to have AJ and those two, and they're going to have like a heel faction on.
Yeah,
on
but
Raw.
it would have been really nice to see the club versus the Shield, considering that little face-off they had at Tribute to the Troops.
Nah, because Roman's SmackDown now.
Yeah, I know. That's.
Do you know what I think will happen? I think the Viking Hujima flips, because whatever their name's going to be, I think they'll win the Raw tag titles, and you'll go down to around SummerSlam, and you're going to have the Good Brothers versus the Viking Raiders.
If they can keep them.
If they can keep them. But yeah, that should be interesting. And that basically, I think, hang on, I'm just checking my notes. That concludes Raw. I've put in my notes here, though, there wasn't really many personal feuds. It was all to do with titles.
Yeah.
There was like one or two, like the Usos and the Revival, sort of a little feud, but it's not really personal, so to speak.
That'll end up being for number 1 contendership.
I've put in here as well in my notes, right? Commentary. This show. Now, I'm not blaming other than Michael Cole. I'm not blaming the commentators themselves. It's what they're being told to say. It's getting worse and worse. It is painful to listen to. We had the same problem on SmackDown, so it's not just Michael Cole. It's what the commentators are being told to say. Oh, it's mind-numbingly painful. Vince, seriously, you got to sort it out or bugger off. Oh. So the show overall, I gave it a generous 3 stars.
2.5.
I'll give half. I'll give half.
The only thing that saved it was
that triple threat match.
Yeah, AJ. Yeah, AJ saving Raw already.
So
had Ricochet not lost, probably given it 3. But yeah.
Mine is a low 3 stars, by the way, but 3 stars nonetheless.
Mine's a low 2.
Match of the night, again, as we said, was Styles, Mysterio and Joe. It was a good match.
Contender for match of the week.
So now we move on to SmackDown. It was in the University of Nebraska. And the segment, I'm doing the Sean Connery thing again. The segment started with Shane McMahon coming out. I'm getting really bored of this commentators.
Did you hear what he said? So what kind of man punches a man's father? You literally smacked up the Miz's dad.
It's the irony. That's the whole point. I think it's just to wind the fans up. So yeah, it was started. Shane McMahon comes out. He does that stupid thing with the announcer again. I'm getting really tired of that now. Thank God he didn't ask him to do it more than once.
What, Greg?
Yeah, good old Greg. We then get Roman come out. He goes to lift the microphone. He's getting big cheers now, which is good. He goes to lift the microphone and just drops it. Shane does the same. Elias goes to attack Roman from behind. He comes out from the ramp. Roman sort of starts fighting him off, but 2v1, they get the better of him, and Elias hits a drift away to end the segment.
I can tell now when you're going to get like a good feud out of Roman, because he doesn't shave his beard. No, that's how, genuinely, like, bearded Roman has mad feuds. Go back and check. It's a thing.
Actually, saying that, I do remember when he had his drug violation and he had the triple threat match at Battleground 2016, the Shield triple threat. He didn't shave it then either.
And that was a mad match.
And because that's when everyone thought, oh, he's going to turn heel. He's definitely going to turn heel because he hasn't shaved his beard, but no, he didn't, because Roman Reigns will never turn heel for the rest of my existence. But to be fair, the segment wasn't too bad. I won't get into it much. Shane was just really winding up the crowd. Looks like Shane and Elias are having a little bit of a team up because they kept doing backstage segments and it was really awkward. I think they ended up getting in a limo together and driving off at the end of SmackDown. But I mean, they were midway through the show, but I'm just going to say outright now, Elias basically later on challenges Roman Reigns to a match at Money in the Bank, and then another segment after that, I can't remember who the commentator was. It's not Dasha because she's left, it was someone else.
Just a new one.
It was the new one. She's basically announced that what Elias has said, and Roman accepts the match. Next we had the runner-up for match of the week. It was Finn Balor versus Andrade again. There was some back and forward as to Andrade being back on SmackDown. They said some crap. They made up stuff as to why he's come back. Real story is apparently Elias and Charlotte. Elias? Apparently Andrade and Charlotte have actually got engaged. Not been confirmed yet, but that was why Charlotte wanted him to come back, so they can spend more time together.
The influence of being off Flair.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, the match was very good. What happened at the end was Zelina Vega got up on the turnbuckle. She goes to hit Finn with like a crossbody. He ducks. Andrade catches. It was a bit like the NXT match where Aleister Black won the NXT title, really. And he sort of Andrade tries to get Zelina out of the way, but gets caught with a shotgun dropkick. And then coup de grace to coup de grace. Sounds like a soup, doesn't it? And then he pins Andrade, and that was the end of the match. It wasn't too bad actually. A bit short, but it was good. Not as good as the Raw match last week, though, I don't think. Next we have, this is what annoyed me again. We had Kairi Sane versus Peyton Royce.
They're going to keep Kairi Sane strong, though, aren't they?
The match was 3 minutes.
They're going to keep her strong.
And she pins Peyton Royce in 3 minutes with the insane elbow.
Why?
The tag champions have not won a match since Mania. And I can see them losing the belts straight away as well.
To be fair, neither of Hawkins.
Well, that's true.
Apart from the rematch.
I think you'll have a traditional tag team with the two Japanese stars and the Iconics, and I think that this is where Mandy Rose and Deville will come out, and it'll be like a DQ finish at Money in the Bank. Because Rose and Deville come out after this, basically just to stand there and make a weird thing. They just stood there making faces, really, and that was it. And then later on, we had a segment where they said to Paige backstage, "Oh, you know, we don't want absolution anymore. You know, you had your chance, you didn't take it." That was the short end of the version.
So absolution is coming back next year.
Yeah, probably. But that was it. It was a bit boring. It was then announced somehow that the shake-up's still happening because Jinder Mahal is on SmackDown with the Singh brothers, and we were going to have Jinder Mahal versus Chad Gable, who's also moved over to SmackDown. But as Gable was making his way to the ring, my favourite wrestler of all time, Lars Sullivan, comes down, clotheslines him from behind. Yes, that was sarcasm. He then basically absolutely decimates both Singh brothers. Hits one with a freak accident, the other one with that, to be fair, good-looking gut-wrench powerbomb. Jinder runs away like a coward. And then
the ring, didn't he?
R-Truth comes out, tries to attack.
So, confirmed, Lars Sullivan's first fuse is R-Truth.
That'd be a one-match. It'll be on the pre-show as well, I reckon. One-match sort of thing, and it'd be a complete domination.
Would you reckon they'll do like a... Oh, no, because he attacked Ray, never mind. Ignore me.
But yeah, basically, R-Truth comes out, tries to fight Sullivan, and regrets all his previous life choices because Sullivan just absolutely destroys him, hits him with that gut-wrench powerbomb again, which Truth sounds like he's literally hit a trampoline. It was great. And that was it. The end of the segment. Weren't much to be really talking about. Then we had the Black promo. He's basically just saying he's going to darker places, which, like we said earlier, probably means he's black massing them up the arse. Sounds a bit pornographic, doesn't it? Moving on. Yeah, I think he's probably gonna. Yeah, don't just ignore that. I think he's probably gonna turn heel. Yeah. Stop giving me that look.
I'm still trying to compute what you just said.
But yeah,
what part of your brain thought that'd be okay to say?
Don't know. But yeah, it looks like he's going to be turning heel. With all these changes to these superstars and all these random changes to these superstars, I'd like to have kept Black as he was for now, and then maybe change him a couple of months down the line. But I like Black. He's a good wrestler, so we're just going to have to wait and see where that one goes. Then we have Lynch and Charlotte segment. Now, Lynch comes out. They have a bit of a back and forth. I'm not really going to go much into this because it's the same stuff over and over again. Charlotte and Becky Lynch in the spotlight. Like I said last week, Lynch is in almost every single women's segment. I'm getting tired of her already. And Charlotte, again, she doesn't need to be in this feud right now, but yet she is. So, they have a back and forward. Bayley then comes out. Everyone realises that Bayley's just, again, the epitome of irrelevance now. Bayley and Charlotte have a match for the number one.
Michael Shea's thing.
Who?
Don't remember in
yeah, I'll say he's gone from WrestleMania. No one knows who he is anymore. But basically, there's a number one contenders match for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Was it actually a number one contenders match?
Yes, it was.
I just thought she got her rematch. I was like, so much for no automatic rematches.
No, it was for the number one contenders match. For a match at Money in the Bank for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
It was a pretty good match.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad match. There were some good spots in it. I can't remember off the top of my head because I didn't actually write them down, sorry. But the match was finished, I think, with the figure 8. Bayley tapped out, if I remember correctly. It's going to be Charlotte and Becky Lynch versus Charlotte v Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's title. Now, again, we'll get into our predictions nearer the time of the pay-per-view, but we both said we reckon that Becky Lynch will face Charlotte first. They'll have a back and forth match. Lynch will overcome Charlotte, but she'll attack her after the match, and then that's when you have Lacey Evans come out. Back-to-back matches, and Evans will win the Raw Women's Championship. I don't.
It's too soon for Ronda to come back.
No, she won't come back. Yeah, she can't anyway, her injury.
Oh yeah, shit.
Yeah. But I see Evans. I don't see Lynch coming away with both belts. I really don't. After Money in the Bank, I think Evans will walk away with the championship.
It's a bit kind of sad doing that her last.
And did you see Liv Morgan is up for a big push? I reckon she could be the dark horse in.
She's going to win
in the briefcase. I think she'll be the dark horse in the briefcase. In the Money in the Bank.
Are they doing? Is it going to be a briefcase for both?
One man, one woman again. and they both need to be
Oh, is
better
it
than
going to be
last year.
from like 3 from each?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was it really. It was a good match, but there wasn't really much to say. Lynch and Charlotte just saying the same thing over and over again. It was back and forth bickering. It was actually a little bit painful to watch, but I'm getting tired of Lynch already.
I'm kind of shocked they haven't started doing the qualifying matches for the Money in the Bank. But
It's 5 weeks away.
Can almost guarantee it. Like, there's 6 competitors, yeah.
Mhm.
Corbin,
Yeah.
Drew, Miz, Joe, Ray.
That's 5 from Raw.
Yeah, and then 1 dude from SmackDown.
No, they'll do
Who-
3.
no,
They'll do 3 with 3.
Who's in the title picture on SmackDown apart from Kevin Owens?
Spoilers.
Oh no! I can get rid of that.
I see McIntyre winning it and holding it for a while. They can't do what they did with Braun. They majorly cocked up what they did with the briefcase last year with Strowman. But anyway, we'll get into it. So I'm just getting my notes back up.
I've literally just put SmackDown. I'm so sorry.
So we then had the.
I'll bleep it.
No.
I'll bleep it.
Keep it in.
No,
So then we then had the Bray Wyatt segment again. I think it was an identical segment to Raw, wasn't it?
Mm.
Or it could have been different. But it was the Bray Wyatt segment again. This is where I said I started to feel a bit more into it. Now knowing that Vince is going to push this a lot. So
Well, you know how Vince works, because he's pushed
no
everything.
one knows how Vince works.
Vince doesn't even know how Vince works.
But yeah, this should be interesting to see. I think it'll be quite good. And then finally we had Kofi Kingston versus Nakamura. This I actually thought was quite a good match. We're not saying out of this world, but it was for a SmackDown match.
It was like a 3.
Yeah, it was an okay match, but the match was ended. Kofi Kingston won via disqualification when Big O, Kevin Owens.
No.
Huh?
No. Rusev got knocked.
Did
he? Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. But anyway, the Kofi Kingston won by DQ, but the ending was basically Kevin Owens turned on Kofi Kingston.
If you didn't get that from what I said about a minute ago.
Yeah. He beat him down. He has turned heel again.
This happened. I love heel Kevin Owens.
Do you think he'll still use the stunner?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's his new finish.
I love heel Kevin Owens, but I definitely didn't see that coming.
I saw it coming, but not this soon.
Yeah, no, it was going to happen eventually.
Yeah. Because I think when he was introduced as an honorary member of the New Day last week, I thought, well, it's going to be Owens versus Kofi. Especially now Big E's out. So.
Yeah, but like, I really thought they could, like, Vince could. You could get, like, big merch sales, a couple of good weeks out of that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I didn't think they'd do it this
Kevin
week.
Owens. I read a rumour the other day that apparently Vince pulled the plug on that whole thing while the match was happening.
What, Owens and...
Kofi was supposed to beat Nakamura, like, clean, and then Vince was like... Vince just...
called an audible during the match?
Yeah, he just completely changed it. So the refs obviously had to tell him.
I think it's too soon, personally. I think they could, like you said, merch-wise, they could have had a couple more weeks out of that. But Money in the Bank, I think, is 4 or 5 weeks away. So, I think that's a missed opportunity. But that was SmackDown. SmackDown versus Raw. SmackDown, I think, just won. There was only really one good match on Raw this week. But I think both shows
I think
weren't.
the thing that makes SmackDown weird is the turn, because no one was expecting it.
Yeah. So I would again say 3 stars for SmackDown, but a high 3 stars this time.
High 3 for SmackDown.
Mid to high 3 for SmackDown. So SmackDown just took over Raw on this one. Match of the week, as we said, will go to Raw though.
AJ.
We will give it AJ, Joe and Mysterio. That was a very, very good match. Now finally, I'm going to do my new segment here. Rumour is that Jeff Hardy is injured. He was limping at a live event, so he's possibly got a leg injury. So they're going to have to wait and see. Because,
I think he struggles with leg injuries anyway, because when I went to see him last year, he got injured on his entrance.
Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. But apparently the reason there was no sort of SmackDown tag feud at the moment is because they don't know whether they're going to have to vacate the belts. That's how bad it is. Yeah, so they've just won them. They might have to vacate them straight away. So I hope not.
That sucks.
But look at when Edge got injured, when he won, this is going back like 10 years, but when Edge won the belt with Chris Jericho, and then Edge got injured with his Achilles.
Cherry Show.
And then they had Big Show step in as champion. Why can't they just do that?
No, what would be good if they did like, remember when Cody turned on Hulk Holly with Ted DiBiase?
Night of Champions 2008.
It
was his debut match, and he won gold. Yeah, so we're gonna have to wait and see what they do with the SmackDown sort of tag titles there. Next bit of injury news is Daniel Bryan. Now, it is being kept quiet for a while. I also take this one with a pinch of salt because there are other reports that are saying there isn't any new news, but I can't remember who it was from. But whoever did say this, they said that apparently there isn't much news. They're trying to keep it as quiet as possible, but to stress that he's not a head injury. He will be back. It's not overly serious, but it's serious enough for him to be taking some time off to let it heal up.
Doesn't he have to go through even more extensive?
He has to do a concussion test after every match, but apparently these people who reported this, again, I'm sorry, I can't remember
That's
who it was.
got to be really tedious. Like, I know it's for his own health, but come on.
Well, I don't know if I've
had one of them, it takes like 20 minutes.
I've had a concussion, they suck. Oh, you've had a concussion too? Yeah, I've had ones where they suck. But it's being kept quiet, but he's apparently taking some time off for injury purposes, just to make sure he's all healed up for when he does come back. I can see him and Kofi getting back into it SummerSlam. Maybe.
No?
No,
because Kofi wouldn't have the belt by then.
No, I don't think he will.
Title.
My
what a segue!
My next bit of news is WWE they've basically lifted the ban on the word belt. Vince McMahon hated the term, though no announcer was allowed to say it. It was either title or championship. Now
he's banned strap. Who says strap? Like, come on, man. It's 2019. Don't say strap.
I don't know.
Strap means gun.
But yeah, apparently Vince McMahon has now allowed people in the WWE to say the word belts. Hence, that's probably why Becky's allowed to say Becky 2 belts, because I thought Vince would have had like an aneurysm over that, especially now that there's merch on it. But apparently, it was not Becky Lynch's the reason. Becky Lynch was not the reason why the thing was dropped, though. It was just a coincidence.
Just a matter of time, really.
Yeah, I think Vince just needs to get with the time. Next up, we have some news from Dave Meltzer. I actually took down who said this one. We had some news from Dave Meltzer. Apparently, Joey Ryan is looking to be signing for WWE.
He's going to go to AEW.
So the direct lord of the Penis Armada is going to.
Oh, that wasn't even supposed to.
That wasn't planned either.
That makes me so
The direct lord of the Penis Armada looks like he will be going to WWE. Could you imagine him retiring the Undertaker with the dick flip?
Wow.
So yeah,
I don't think they'd let him use it.
I don't think they would.
Didn't he get like loads of heat because he was charging people to touch his appendage?
to touch his
his willy.
male genital. Yeah,
Singular.
That's basically all that was. So next up, Backlash, the pay-per-view.
It's not a live show, isn't it?
It is no longer going to be on June 16th. That has now been replaced, which also is San Diego. That has now been replaced as a house show. Backlash will now be on June 23rd in Tacoma, which apparently is around Washington way. I didn't know what it was. I had to Google it. I think it's Tacoma, Washington. We're not from America, guys. Sorry.
I thought they were doing Backlash as an actual live event.
No.
Like they did with, what was it, Star?
I think they dropped it where it was because they've got the Saudi show and they didn't want to repeat what they did last year, where they did the WrestleMania, then they did Saudi show 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks after that they had Backlash. So I think they were trying to give it some space. But again, you're going to have money in the bank.
WCW one they did again?
Bash at the Beach.
No, Star.
Oh,
I can't think of it.
It's going to bug me. Starcast. No, not Starcast. It was. Oh, come on. What is it?
I can't even Google it.
It was. People are crucified shouting at us in
Yeah.
the comments right now. It'll come to me. It'll come to me in a minute. Starcade.
I was literally
Starcade.
about to say, is there a bit of wrestling like knowledge you don't have?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but yeah, apparently it's going to be, and we're coming off subject, but yeah, Backlash is going to be on June 23rd in Tacoma. We've already mentioned the Viking names. So confirmed matches for Money in the Bank as of this date are Roman Reigns versus Elias. We then have Becky Lynch doing the double shot, which is SmackDown title versus Charlotte Flair, and the Raw title versus Lacey Evans. And finally, we have the match which I hope will be match of the night, is Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles for the Universal Championship.
This has 5-star match written all over it.
I'll be looking forward to that one. I think that'll be very, very good. I'm going to be sitting on the edge of my seat for that one. Also, I've mentioned the Bray Wyatt comments, how Vince McMahon is apparently going to be pushing him very far. Next up, B-Team are another team that have silently gone over to SmackDown. They had a dark match on SmackDown after the show.
B-Team, go, go, go.
They lost to Heavy Machinery, but apparently they are now permanently on SmackDown. The other news is that WWE have trademarked the word B-Team University. So I reckon that's going to be a bit like the Fashion Files with Banks with Fandango and Breeze. I think they're going to have like their own little segment thing, which
nothing will ever be as good as the Fashion Files.
Yeah. The next news is Sasha Banks is in a stalemate with WWE about her contract. Now, we've already reported how we feel. My feelings on this are basically, you look at people like the Revival, you look at people like the Club, they've had all their contract release, that they've asked for their release, that it's been denied, but they've gone about it professionally and they've seen out their contract, you know, as they should, because at the end of the day they're still getting paid. They've signed that contract, they've got to honour that contract. Sasha Banks, for me, I've lost all respect in the woman at the moment because she's just acting like a child. It's a tantrum.
She had a paddy.
Oh, it's just my little niece would do better than that.
Part of me sees where she's coming from, part of me doesn't. Like, I don't understand why she's acting like a child.
I can understand her frustrations, but her way she's gone about it.
Yeah, the frustration I can understand is because she fought so hard to get the women, like, they all did. They all fought so hard to get the women's titles, and she hasn't had like a long run with any of the titles she's held. She's not defended any world championship. All 4 of her world titles she lost in the first match she had. 3 weeks. I think the longest one was 22 days. Yeah, so the first one she beat Charlotte for, lost it at SummerSlam. Second one she again lost. She's 5-time champ? Four. Well, if you include tag titles, that's quite an accolade to have. On the main roster, obviously, she's also NXT champion. The last title she defended, singles title she defended, was NXT. Was it? And technically, she wasn't the one that defended the tag titles either, because it was Bayley getting the roll up on Nia Jax, Hurricane Rana at the pay-per-view before Mania. So yeah, but talking of WWE contracts, segue. Moving to Luke Harper. Now, apparently WWE are not granting his release time. In fact, they are actually extending it. Due to Luke Harper's wrist injury, which kept him out for 6 months, they froze his WWE contract, and they are adding that time onto his contract. So now he will not be able to leave WWE until just before Mania. If you then throw in the 3 months no compete clause... Does he have that? Yeah, every wrestler has that in their contract. Do they? Yeah, 90-day complete course. So it's sort of around just under 3 months. But basically, you're looking at 3 months after that. So you won't be seeing Luke Harper wrestling another company until around sort of July next year. It's not really fair, is it? I'm hoping they've got something for him. They're not just keeping him for the sake of keeping him. So much. They'll have a TV. They'll have venues. They'll have championships. Well, they're apparently on Turner Sports Network. TNT. So that should be interesting. You're going to have the Monday Night Wars again. Well, even though it's Tuesdays. But yeah, that's basically all we've got for you today, guys. That's it. That's the end of this week. Like I say, sorry this was all sort of put together into one video. We're rushing for time. We've both got to shoot off now. You've got to go back to work, and I've got somewhere to be this afternoon. So we had to make this sort of short and put it into one. Sean, hopefully tonight, will be doing the NXT review. What we're going to try and do is we're going to try and possibly, if we're together,
do NXT, and then what we'll do is we're not going to do 205 Live as a whole like we do with Raw and SmackDown. We're literally just going to recap the finishes and how the end comes around, because let's face it, not many people watch 205 Live.
I've never watched 205 Live.
205 Live is really, really painful to watch, especially now that most of the roster's been gutted from there and gone to the main shows. But yeah, so overall SmackDown won this week. I think they were both below par.
Very below par.
Ben is not around at the moment. He's working, and then he is away doing other stuff. He will be back hopefully next week. We'll have to wait and see for that one. He was supposed to be with me yesterday, but like I said, we all sort of got called into work at last minute. So that was a bit difficult. But yeah, so we will hopefully see you next week. What we're going to try and do is we are going to see if we can all get together, possibly weekend or start of next week, and we're going to do our top 10 finisher list.
We will.
We're going to do 10 best finishers and 10 worst finishers. Also, I at the moment am trying to create an intro video for you guys. I'm going to try and sort of do better thumbnails and things. I'm going to try and sort of update the channel a little bit, but yeah. I'm strapped for time myself at the moment. We started this channel right now due to WrestleMania being around and the start of the new wrestling calendar year. But we also sort of started at the worst time, because at this current time of the year, we're all extremely busy. So it's got a bit difficult as well. But we're going to try and do what we can. Again, as we always say, please bear with us. We really, really appreciate your support. So please tell all your friends that are wrestling fans, and ask if they can subscribe as well if you like our content. If you guys have any suggestions for us, any videos you would like to see, please leave them down in the comments. We're happy to listen to them, and we'll tell you if we can or can't do them.
Turn on the notification bell so you know when we upload. Yeah,
and that's all we got for you today. So I've been Paul.
I've been Sean.
You've been watching Alpha Wrestling Reviews. Take care, stay safe, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.
Peace.